Greetings everyone, I'm Desdemona of the Celestial Coven, and welcome to this Polyamorous love reading. This is a timeless pick-a-card reading that applies to any time that you happen to be watching it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. From here, I'd like you to pause this and take a moment to see which pile resonates most for you. Alright, those of you who chose pile 1, this is your reading. We're going to find out today about your polyamorous life and where it is now and where it's going. So let's begin by first finding out what you are like, pile 1, in relationships. So for your tarot cards for this, we have the Lovers in reverse. Now there are multiple Lovers cards in this deck, in the Star Spinner Tarot, that have different types of pairs together. They don't unfortunately have any polyamorous cards in this particular deck. There's not many that do. But I really like this one because it has more inclusivity, and we can't really tell what gender the people are in this card, and it could be that you have a more queer romance. Perhaps some of you are the same genders, different genders, perhaps there's a mix of genders in your relationships. So I am getting this kind of non-traditional relationship as far as even, beyond the polyamory. And for your other tarot card, you have the Ten of Swords in reverse. So you are not somebody who gives up easily on relationships. You like to stick things out and try to make things work where you can. I am getting that since the Lovers is in reverse, that you may have a complex relationship with your ability to love, or perhaps it's not that, and perhaps you are more gray or aromantic and you don't identify with the sort of labels that, people use when they talk about romantic love. Or perhaps you just, maybe you are the kind of person who, for some of you, you may be a little bit indecisive about your partners. You're not exactly sure what you're looking for, but at the same time, you don't give up easy. You're not wishy-washy about your relationships, and you do try to stick them out and make them work. I'm also getting, for the kind of person you are in relationships, pile 1, that you are the type to really be a force of peace. You are someone who doesn't start fights, really. You bring things up maybe if you need to, if they cross your boundaries, but overall you're a pretty peaceful presence. You don't like drama. You like to have things, calm and pleasant in your relationships. Also, for the kind of person you are in your relationships, you have Messiah. Now, for this, we have light attribute, serving humanity with humility, shadow attribute, exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. Now, everybody has light and shadow in them, and some people may have already worked on these shadow attributes and moved past them, and some, may not be challenged by those things. But if there are some of you who are more kind of people-pleasing in your relationships, like you like to come in and save the day, I would evaluate that and see if it's within your boundaries to continue doing that as much as you are. I mean, it's wonderful to be giving and to help out those that you care most for. But it is, also important to know where the line is and like how much is too much to give. But I think that you like to be there to, and it's interesting you have Messiah with peace. I think some of you, not a whole lot, but some of you may be Christian, or you may be just the kind of person who's very peaceful. You may be a Jesus-like person, even if you don't even believe Jesus exists. You may be the kind of person in relationships who likes to be the most giving and inspiring and, but at the same time peaceful. You don't like to, cause, any upset, which is, of course, not exactly like Jesus, because, of course, Jesus did some very not peaceful things in the Bible, but that's besides the point. I think that here you really like to be of service to your partners when you're in relationships, and you really like to be a, serene kind of person in your relationships. I am getting that. So the next thing we're going to find out for you, Pile 1, is what your present relationships are like if you're presently in relationships. If you're not presently in relationships, this is more about your relationships with yourself and different parts of yourself at this time. But for many of you, most of you, it'll be about your relationships that you're presently in. So we'll take a look at those. So I'll put off these to the side, but we may look at them again. Okay. So for one aspect or connection, now I have 3 different cards for this. It doesn't necessarily mean 3 different people. It could be 3 different people. It could be 3 different aspects that are combined in different ways across 2 or more people, or just yourself if you're not presently in relationships. So take that as it resonates. So we have the Martyr for one of these energies, and that light attribute, learning to transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow attribute can be addiction to self-pity. We have the second energy here is Trickster, which says the light attribute is transcending convictions, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Shadow attribute is manipulating others through duplicity. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean these people are actually like this. In both light and shadow, they may have a mix of these things, or they may have more of one than the other, but this is just kind of an idea of the kinds of archetypes we might see in these energies. The third one is Mystic. Light attribute reveals an intimate union with the divine. Shadow, delusional rapport with the divine. All right. So a lot of purple and pink here. I'm getting that this is a very potentially spiritual connection already, especially since you had Messiah and peace. Like, there is definitely, for many of you, a spiritual element to this connection. We're going to find out more about that in a moment, because we also have a tarot card for what the connection between these energies is. So you have the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay. So I'm getting that right now it's likely that these energies are not entirely connected, and this could be because of some potential issues going on in your relationships, or it could be because of distance. Some of you may be distant from each other right now, or in separation. And what I'm getting is that there's something that one or more of you has been kind of neglecting, walking away from, that isn't good for you anymore. With this Eight of Swords, and it's putting a blockage in this connection between your partners and yourself, or the parts of yourself that need to be aligned. And these parts are really lovely together. So we have this very magically free-spirited kind of energy here that's very in service to each other and, their higher natures. I see that, there may be some potential for, not necessarily lying to each other, although in some of your cases I may look out for that and be on guard for that. But I think for most of you, there's some amount of like playful energy here with at least one person in this connection. Like, they're kind of a playful person. Some of them might be, in comedy, or maybe you think they should do comedy, but like I'm getting that like this is kind of a, fun energy, but also can be, sometimes they might not know when to overstep, when they're not overstepping, and when they are with their bounds there. So that may cause some tension. And I get that since you're such a peaceful person in your relationships, you may be, either you are represented by this martyr here in the sense that you kind of have that energy, similar, like I said, the Jesus-like energy, where you might give of yourself to support the common cause or common goals. And it may be that you sacrifice too much of yourself, like I was kind of picking up on before. So I would really look to balance that if you feel like you're drained, if you feel like you run out of energy a lot, especially if you're, this happens around your partners, even if you really care for them. If you feel drained, you may want to look at how much you're giving of yourself. And also, what reasons you're giving for. Like, are you giving so much of yourself because of a past hurt? Are you giving so much of yourself because of an addiction to self-pity in some of your cases, which may have been caused by a past hurt? Or perhaps you just do it out of the kindness of your heart, but you don't really notice when it even oversteps, what your energy is, balanced with. So I'm getting the strong feeling that that's likely your energy there. Whether or not you're also these other energies depends on your relationships. But I'm getting that at least one of you is a very spiritual person. If they're not spiritual, they have a very otherworldly presence. This person might be an Aquarius. I'm getting definitely some air and water from that too, but they don't have to be an Aquarius, but I'm getting Aquarius vibes because they're very otherworldly, and in the way they think is very different. They seem connected in ways that are difficult to describe. I see that at the same time that these energies are very harmonious, they are also kind of conflicting in certain ways. Like the mystic seems to want to take things pretty seriously, whereas the trickster might not be taking things as seriously. And maybe there might be one person in your current connections that like you might be very interested in, but you don't really know where they stand. And that might be one of the things that's leading to this kind of blockage. But I don't think it's necessarily all the trickster here, right? 'Cause it's about understanding each other's energies, and because these are at the same time harmonious but also very different energies, it can be difficult for any one of them to understand the way that the others really process things or communicate, Like the trickster might use humor to deal with situations that are difficult with them, whereas the mystic may want to sit down and really think about it and find a unique solution, and the martyr may want to just, give as much as they can of themselves to make the problem go away. So it might be just that there is a kind of disconnect in communication styles too. We're going to get some additional information about these connections here with these cards. So this is the winds of change. Your surroundings will undergo transition. And the seer here. Follow your intuition. So something is going to shift in these connections very soon, I'm getting, and we're probably going to find out more about that in the next section for you. But yeah, because with the winds of change, it's pretty straightforward. It's looking like things are going to, change. Perhaps this blockage will be resolved, and I think that if you all follow your intuition, that will help. Here with the seer, I think that, especially over here near the mystic, it's kind of cool, but I think that here it's important to kind of look at things from the bigger picture and kind of see how they're all fitting together. And it may be that, like, trying to understand intuitively, in a way, how the others in your connection circle might be thinking and understanding things. And, I see that maybe you might want to share that with others. You may want to gain a deeper understanding of the situation before taking action. So that's what I'm getting for your present connections. What I'm going to find out now is, in the near future, what their connections are going to look like at that point. And this could be with the same people, or it could be with different people. So we're going to find out, because there is going to be some change for you guys. I don't know yet what kind, but we'll be able to see that very soon. So for this, the first thing we're going to find out is about the people in this connection. So over the same, for Martyr, we have the engineer. I'm not going to read them all now, but you can pause if you want to read these. Interesting transition. We have the hermit. Hold that up. Okay. And we have the companion. Alright. And for your tarot card about the connections themselves, you have the 5 of coins. Okay. Interesting. And the actual fortune cards we have here, the Caduceus, you will receive news from afar. The black cat, your luck will soon change. Okay. So it seems like there will be, at least in the future, some amount of feelings of being alone. So it may be that one or more of you leave the connection, or it may be that if you're hoping to find a partner soon and you're presently single, or you're hoping to find a partner soon and you're presently single, that you'll have to wait a little while longer. And I know that's not the news anyone wants to hear, but I'm getting this feeling of being left out in the cold. And it may be that, I'm being kind of left feeling like there's nothing, even, regardless. But, and I think with this hermit here, it does seem like there's some aloneness here, some having to spend time by oneself, but you're not completely alone. So I think in this connection, if there were 3 people, if this is a connection between you and 2 other people, in some fashion, whether that's you and 2 of your partners, or you, a partner and their partner, however your polyamory is constructed, if this was 3 people, one of these people is probably, like, if this is the trickster, they may end up deciding that they may not end up being right for the connection, and they may drift off, especially if they were already at a distance from you guys and they weren't sure. Like, if that was one of you guys where, like, you weren't sure this person was serious about this connection and they were kind of being kind of tricky about it, this person will probably wander off from your life and will probably not be with you or with their partner if they're connected to you through another partner for very long. If this isn't 3 people, if this is 2 or less, if this is 2 people right now, this is probably that, one of you is going to be feeling like things are fine, but the other is probably going to be feeling kind of left out. And if that's you that's feeling left out, I would really talk to your partner about that and, like, try to come to an understanding and, like, really analyze the situation, because I see you stepping in to a different energy too. Like, if this was you, the martyr, I'm seeing you stepping into an energy where you are able to, use that piece to kind of meditate on things, to break them down and analyze how they're put together, and, figure out how things work. And I think so, if you're feeling like you've been giving so much of your energy and now you're kind of feeling left out in the cold, like, maybe this mystic partner or something finds another partner after this one wanders off, or perhaps, they feel like they're fine and dandy connected to you, and you might be feeling differently about that. it'd be good to communicate that to your partner and to try to find some understanding and find out what's going on. Um, and yeah, so I'm seeing that like with if you are presently single and you're looking for partners, right? What I am getting is that you might have to wait a little bit while longer, but that your luck will change. You may want to put yourself out there in more online settings if you aren't already, but be careful because not everybody's who they say they are on the internet, of course. But like you have the intelligence and the ability to break things down in ways that will allow you to be able to tell the good from the BS, you know? So I think with this, it's just telling you that, it's good to take this time to yourself, but to kind of, leave up a couple profiles maybe on, some of your favorite dating sites if you have them or what have you. Because at that point, you might be able to potentially, or maybe join some groups online that talk about things you're interested in, and you'll be able to potentially hear from somebody in the future that might serve as a good partner for you, because that person might turn into a um, very real and true companion for you, and may introduce you to a whole new world of joy, and that would change your luck in the long term. So what I'm also getting here is that if you're one of the people that's in 3 or more relationships right now, or like that has 3 or more connections through various relationships of yours, whether that be like you, partner, man, more, whatever. The person that is probably going to be kind of, phasing out or perhaps spending time by themselves for a while, will leave you with more time to spend with one of your other partners, perhaps the partner of that person, or perhaps, you'll get more time with one partner because you previously had 2, or, you have less to focus on because there's less metamors. But you'll get to spend some really quality time with them. Um, you will probably hear from this person occasionally, and what you do with that is kind of you guys' choice, but I don't think, um, whoever that jokester was that didn't seem like they were taking it very seriously, I don't think they're going to be a good long-term fit for your life in polyamory. What I want to find out right now then is what point, like what timing we can kind of expect for this near future-esque time. So I have these 2 cards. One Moonology card, which here is going to be Mutable Moon, nothing yet set in stone. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, 10, Major Arcana. So what I'm getting is that from this, there's a little bit of flexibility with when this will happen. It will depend, I think, on how long, it takes for certain people to make decisions on the future between these connections. And what I'm getting though is that 10 is important. So this could be 10 days. This could be the 10th month. It could also be, 10 weeks potentially. But whatever seems resonating for you, if you felt like a spark at one of those descriptions, that's probably the right one for you. I'm getting that, though, that there is some flexibility in this. Things could change in this regard if different decisions are made. That's why the mutable moon with nothing yet set in stone is here. So, there is still some time to change some of these things if this isn't the result you want, but just taking into account that you know how this could happen if nothing is done differently, this might give you some things to work with. But the next thing I want to get for you, these last 2 cards I wanted to get for you, are going to be advice for your relationships going forward. And the first we have here is the 8 of Wands, and we have New Moon Leo. Confidence is your key to success. Alright, so he has a lot of fire here. I'm getting that for most of you, Your advice for your relationships is to stand in your own power, know what you want, know your boundaries, and keep them. Don't let anybody take too much of your energy, but, give as much as you are comfortable giving without draining yourself, without preventing yourself from self-care or achieving your own goals. You don't want to step too far, but being confident in yourself and sure of who you are and what you want will help you to not overextend yourself in that way. I'm also getting that whatever choices you need to make them sooner rather than later, because things could happen pretty fast in the way they might change. So I'm getting, for those of you, the timing of this, when we have the 10 there, it's far more likely that this is 10 days, or if we're currently in the 10th month or near the 10th month, it's the 10th month. But I'm getting this is going to happen relatively soon, that these changes are going to take place. So I would recommend stepping into your power and making any decisions you have to make soon, because your luck will change, things will go towards the better over time, and you will get things worked out and achieve your goals, but you have to make decisions and spend your time wisely here, and your energy wisely. So that is all I have for you, Pile 1. I hope that this is helpful in your relationships and your polyamory, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye. Hi there, those of you who picked Pile 2. This is your reading. So today we're going to find out about your polyamorous life, your relationships, or love. So the first thing we're going to find out for you today is about what you are like in relationships, Pile 2. So, the tarot cards we have for you are the 8 of Knives and the Queen of Skulls. And the magical spell card we have for who you are in relationships is Love. Very beautiful. Aphrodite, I call to thee to bring true love here to me. And then for your archetype for who you are in relationship, Child Magickal. Oh, that's lovely. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. I'm not going to read all of these light and shadow attributes out loud, but you can pause and read them if you like when I do pull archetypes. Note that everybody has a mix of light and shadow within them, and everybody's at a different stage of their journey. So some people may have more light, some people may have more shadow, but so this isn't necessarily saying you have all of one or the other, or both, but this is the kind of energy that you have in your relationships. A magical child. Not that you are a child. If you're a child, you probably shouldn't be watching a relationship reading. But this is more about the energy you have. It's very childlike. You're very curious and explorative, and you see the world with magic in your eyes. You like to see how everything sparkles, and you love to love. For those of you who picked this file who might be aromantic or gray romantic, I wouldn't take this as you loving to be in love so much as you being the sort of romantic energy. You have this very bountiful, free energy. You see, I also have a bird here. She has wings. And it's interesting because we have the 8 of Knives here, and the 8 of Knives is very, this is an energy of not feeling free. Like, you're bound to something. Now, usually in the 8 of Knives, usually it's the 8 of Swords, and usually there's 8 swords surrounding someone, and they have a blindfold on, and they can't see that because of the blindfold, but they can't see that they can actually escape easily at any time. And but this one is a little bit different because here we have someone who is actually bound in chains. And you can see two other figures in the background who are also bound, and they have long since died. So it does look like here that there is something. It's not that you're going to die or anything. You're not going to die. That's not a prediction that any reader should really make. But here it just means that you feel trapped, and in this case it may be that there is something outside of your control. I see Jupiter here, so maybe there be power structures in the way of you having the kind of relationships you want to have right now. That's what I'm mainly getting from that. Like, it's not that it's hopeless. There's always hope. See these flowers in the water? There's always hope. But there is something that's feeling like it's in the way right now. Your self-expression is being chained, like your ability to express the way you want to have relationships. And getting that in your relationships, though, you are very powerful. I see that you like to be. I like that you like to have nice things, but you like to earn them. You like to work hard and be successful. You're also very loyal. Not in like a monogamous sort of like, way, but like in the sort of, you will stand by the people that you love or care about the most. Very drawn to her pentacle here. You might really like jewelry, or, you may be very tied to the symbol of the pentacle for some of you. Though I am also getting that you really like to be a powerful presence in relationships. Some of you be into a more dominant role in your relationships. This may not be the case, but for some of you that might be. I'm getting that you like to have your bag together. And that you like to be financially stable. You don't want your partners to have to take care of you. You like to take care of yourself. Perhaps you like to take care of your partners as well. You like to nurture them. Maybe you get them gifts. Maybe you make them nice food. And this doesn't necessarily mean, like, this has nothing to do with your gender, though it's the Queen of Skulls. You could be a man, you could be a non-binary person, you could not have a gender, it could be anything. But regardless, you have that sort of energy of being powerful and abundant and loving, and you have that very curious and magical mind. And that's very beautiful, but I do think you have some blockages because you feel trapped by perhaps your culture or power structure. So we're going to get so now what we're going to do is we're going to get into your present connections. Now, if you're not in any relationships right now, then this is your connections with different parts of yourself. But if you are in relationships, this may be all about different people, or it may be more about, combinations of energies that are within however many people you're connected to. So though there'll be a certain number of cards, that doesn't necessarily mean an exact number of people. So the archetypes we have for your present connections are King. So this is King. This, again, doesn't necessarily imply gender, just these attributes. And then for your second one, you have Child in Nature. Interesting, two of these ones that are childlike spirits. Perhaps this is also you in this connection. Or perhaps it's one of your other connections and you connect by the childlike spirit that you have. And Fool. Really like that. Alright. You have some very interesting energies here. There's a lot of contrast I'm noticing so far between this sort of childlike energy and responsible energy with that Queen of Skulls and this King, but also with child nature, child magical fool. So there's experience and inexperience, and there's this kind of circular balance or perhaps shared nature of that. For some of you, I think there's a couple of different camps here. One of you is in a situation where you are in a powerful, or perhaps dominant, but in many cases just powerful or financially independent or abundant state, where perhaps you're a very responsible type of person. And for you, perhaps you feel like your childlike wonder is being inhibited. Um, but there are other camps of you who are very in touch with that, who are in relationships with people who, or a person or people who are very childlike as well in different ways, or very inexperienced in ways where you can guide them. Because I see the king is over these two here, the child nature and the fool. So it may be that one or more partners assumes a more leadership-like role in the relationships, whereas the others may look up to this person, or in some cases they might put them on a pedestal, but not for all. For the connection between these three energies, we have the Nine of Scepters. Okay. Nine of Scepters. Here. See her face here. Her expression looks like she's exuberant, and yet there's also this sense of burden. And I can see that there is kind of someone feels like they are struggling energetically. Like someone may feel like they have too much to deal with at once. They have too many things on their plate. And perhaps it's the person who takes on a more leadership role. If this is someone watching this is not presently in any relationships, it could be that your connection to your youthful spirit within you, you feel like you're too overburdened with things in daily life to really express that side of you. So that's what I'm getting from that. Additional messages about your present energies and your connections. Your earth. Utilize logic, reason, and common sense. And we have water. So 2 elements. Emotions are... Oh, focus, will you? Emotions are at their peak. Okay. So... what I'm seeing here is that there's, with the nature and the magic here, with these elements, I'm getting that some of you may be witches. Not all of you, but some of you may be witches, and you may like to do a lot of green magic, if for those of you that are. But even aside from that, we have a strong feminine energy. This doesn't necessarily mean the people involved are women. There might or might not be, but we have a very with earth and water, the more feminine elements as far as that's concerned. So some of you may be earth signs, some of you may be water signs as well. We have a lot of stability and emotional connection in this present connection. Like there is a sense that these are some of the most important aspects to your present connections, whether that be with yourself or your present partners. That your emotional connections, you like to discuss your emotions logically with each other. And I get that that doesn't necessarily make everyone the happiest, but it's the best way that you guys think you've found to express that right now. But emotion can also be expressed in different ways. Some of you may be very creative. And again, if some of you are more spiritual or magical, you might want to express that way as well. If you are trying to get in touch with that childlike expressiveness of yourself, you might want to use that to express your feelings to your partners or to yourself. Because it's not just about cold logic and reason sometimes. Sometimes emotions are best expressed in different ways. If you do art, that's another good way to do it. I'm getting that there needs to be more balance in power distribution. So there's a lot of receptive energy and not a lot of active energy. It seems like if there's multiple people in a relationship, there are less people taking action on things within the relationship than there are people just waiting for things to happen. And so that might need to be rebalanced in your connections. But let's look now at the near future of your connections, whether these be with the same people or others, or additional if you're looking for more partners. So let's see what the cards have to say about that. First, we have your archetypes. So you have the Exorcist, Child Eternal. Oh, a third one. And I'm gonna butcher the name of this. Dilettante? I am so sorry if I said that wrong. That's lovely. So, for your tarot card, for the connection between these three energies, we have the Daughter of Scepters. And for the additional messages about these connections in the near future, we have the Harlequin, true feelings are masked on one side, and the Talisman, you are destined to succeed on the other. Alright, so I'm getting that there are two different connections involved here. This could either be with yourself and a future partner, or a current partner, or between two different partners, or between a partner and a metamor. It's three people that you are connected to, or just yourself, depending on your circumstances, or more people, however it resonates for you. But there's some connection here, or connections, where someone is not willing to take on additional responsibility. I'm getting that this person, one of the people involved in this is not taking as much of an active role as they should in the relationship or relationships. And you may bring this up to them, you know, if you talk to them about this, if this is you who's taking on more responsibility. If this is not you, this is somebody else who is taking on more responsibility, and you do not, and you are the person who is not, is being more receptive, you may want to evaluate that, because some things could cause issues for you in your relationships if that's you. But there is another connection or another part of your relationship to yourself, perchance, that is actually taking a more active role, but while not losing that free-spirited emotional energy. This is, whoever that person is, they're probably an artist of some kind, or they really enjoy the arts in some way, because we have the water here with expressing their emotions, or fearlessly revealing emotions, and we're talking about doing that artistically before. Now we have the delights in the arts without having to be a professional, and the Fool is not a professional, but they're just starting to learn. So I get it that one person or multiple people involved in this are new to some sort of art that they really like, and they're trying to build maybe a business out of, or maybe they're trying to build a future with that art, or maybe they're just trying to get better at that art. And that person taking a more active role and sharing responsibilities will help them to um, but while not losing that receptive energy. This is about them balancing it. So if this could be one other person and a choice, so it could be one person's choice between taking more responsibility or not, and what happens between that. Because if this is a choice, then if they don't do that and they mask their true feelings and they don't take a more active role in expressing themselves properly, or they don't take a more active role in the relationship, then some things are going to cause some issues, and some doors may close for them. It may not mean that their relationships are going to end. I don't see endings here, but I do see tension and resentment building if that doesn't happen. But if it does, and you take a more active role in the relationship, and for yourself, if that's you, or for themselves, if that's another person, then they will be able to um, explore more of their own creative passions as well. I'm getting for whoever it is that's doing a lot of the active roles already in relationships in this regard, is going to become somebody who allows themselves to release some of that control, to and to get rid of that which no longer serves them, to balance out the situation properly. I see them getting rid of their fears. Whoever this person is, whether that's you or another person, they're probably accepting all this responsibility because they have a fear of letting themselves or their partners down. But that will only build resentment for them if they keep letting that happen. So they're really going to have to communicate that. If that's you, I would communicate with your partner sooner rather than later to try to balance out that responsibility. If that's another person in the relationship, um, I would say that uh, they you may need to look at who that might be and tell them it's okay if they want to share the load. I mean, I'm hearing that you have seen the Lord of the Rings movies, when Samwise Gamgee and Frodo are walking into Mordor, or well, only Samwise Gamgee walked into Mordor. Um, he was offering to help Frodo carry the ring. He did genuinely mean he wanted to help, but Frodo, in his sickness caused by the ring's influence, was suspicious of Samwise and thought that, and because of course, Gollum's lies, or his trying to influence Frodo against him, that Frodo got too suspicious. And anyway, I don't know why I'm telling this whole story, but I think it actually is more relevant since I heard it. But Samwise says to him, "Share the load. Maybe I can help you share the load." And that was something that Gollum had warned him he would say, but really, he just knew he would say it because he would want to help, and he was just trying to turn Frodo against him. And I think that um, the message behind that here is that you know even someone, if somebody is trying to carry everything by themselves, in a relationship or multiple relationships, if somebody is trying to carry way more than is, healthy for them, it will make it difficult for them to um, be able to make good decisions in their relationship. It'll be difficult for them to understand who has their back and who doesn't. And it'll be easy for them to build resentment and suspicion. So if you're in an unbalanced situation in a relationship, I'm getting that's mainly the theme here, that this will change, and how it changes will depend on the actions of those involved and how things are rebalanced. Because if feelings are not shared, if people keep these things to themselves, nothing's going to change and resentment's going to build. But if there's communication and compromise and sharing of duties and sharing of responsibility more, then that childlike energy will really shine through, even with the nature of adulthood, and having to deal with responsibilities and, adult relationship problems. So, what I'm getting so I'm going to pull a couple cards here for timing for when this future thing is relevant. And the first card here is the Seven of Knives, and we also have the Moonology card, Full Moon in Libra. It's interesting that I pulled the Full Moon in Libra because at the time that this is being recorded, we are just about to enter Full Moon in Libra, if we haven't already. By this time, it was supposed to be on the, I believe it's, the official date of it is tomorrow, but the full moon is 3 days technically, so technically in the full moon in Libra already, I think, by this point. So if you're watching it when this video is released, this is timeless, so it applies at any time, but if you're watching it when this video is released, this is going to change for you this conversation needs to happen very soon, and this balance needs to happen. See, we still have balance themes here, very soon. If this is not, when you're watching this, for you, the full moon or when the moon is in Libra may be relevant for you. Additionally, 7 may be relevant, the 7th of a month, 7 days from now, potentially 7 months, if this is one of those things that does take that amount of time, and you'll know if that's right for you. But I think for most, this is a shorter period of time. That these things will have to be talked about. I think these things need to be balanced because Seven of Knives is also things being hidden, and we don't really want that in relationships because those can cause problems. So talk to your partners. If you are not with partners right now, this is about you balancing that energy for yourself so that you have a healthy balance of the responsible adult and the childlike, magical, expressive, artistic soul that you also are. So that is what I have for timing. The last cards I have for you are going to be for your advice going forward in your relationships. And the first one we have is the Lord of Skulls in reverse. Interesting, because we have the Queen of Skulls for the description of you. And we have, what do you need to release with the waning moon? Okay. So, what you are being advised to do at this time is to not think so much about if there's a material aspect to this, try to avoid focusing on controlling the material aspects of this. Like, if the concern here is about money, or like, careers or something like that, the advice you have here is to, when you talk about this, or when you sort this out within yourself, whichever needs to happen, you need to put aside what that would mean financially or career-wise. All right, the wall just like cracked over there. It's interesting. So yeah, I'm getting that that's a pretty strong one for you. For some of you, I'm getting that there's something that needs to be let go of. For some of you, that's control. If you're the person who is trying to manage everything, or trying to manage more things than others, or trying to manage things more than you are trying to have fun. It may be that you need to release some things. If this is others in this situation, it may be that you need to release fear and actually go and have the discussions that need to be had before any resentment is built over this. Yeah, so that is what I'm getting for you, Pile 2. I wish you luck going forward, and I hope that you are able to find a way to shine that magical, childlike energy in your relationships, um, while also maintaining the stability that you so desire and deserve. So that is what I have for you, and I hope you have a good night, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Hi there, Pile 3. If you picked this pile, then this is your reading. So we're going to find out about your polyamorous life and find out what is present and what is coming for you in your polyamory, whether you are presently with partners or not. Now, the first thing we're going to find out right now is what you are like in relationships. So, the tarot cards we have for you from the Numinous Tarot are Awakening. This is normally Judgment, but here we have Awakening in this deck. And Three of Vials. That's beautiful. You know, it's great that we got this in at least one of the piles. This is the only pile that appeared in the Three of Cups or in this deck, the Three of Vials, because I always read, and I think most of us in our system do, we read the Three of Vials as the polyamory card. And for many of you, you may actually have a triad, though for some others of you, you may just have a very close connection with your partners. For those of you that don't have partners yet, you are the kind of person that when you have partners, you really like to collaborate them to make magical things happen. And you really enjoy the time you spend with them. And you really love to be creative with your partners when you have partners. Now, the next thing we have for you about you in relationships: dream sweet, sleep deep, sleep that's deep and lasts till morn, wondrous dreams for days reborn. And health, Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring to me your health and might. All right. So I'm seeing that you are definitely the self-care part. You like to make sure your partners get enough sleep, that they're staying healthy, that they drink water, that they're eating right. You know, you might even like to cook. You know? But you definitely like to make sure that everyone is taken care of. You also, you may have, also, you may like to sleep next to partners, or you may like to sleep in the same room or same house as your partners. You may feel more comfortable going to sleep when you know your partners are around. I get that you are also the kind of person that helps your partners to awaken themselves. You help them understand who they really are by just being yourself as well. Because when you're, you know, being yourself and just like living your truth, geez, there's motorcycles everywhere today. But you really know how to inspire your partners to live their truth and be who they really are and express themselves in a healthy way. So that's beautiful. I love that for you. The next thing we're going to find out for you is what your present connections are like. Now, if you are presently not having any partners, this is about your connections to different parts of yourself. But if you are presently with a partner or partners, this is your connections between your connections. Now, there are 3 archetype cards here, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's exactly 3 people. There may be 1, 2, 3, or more. So let's see what the energy looks like among those people, though. So the first card we have is Victim. Interesting. I'm not going to read these out loud, but you can pause if you want to read the attributes. The second archetype energy we have for your present connections is Servant. Delight in serving others. Okay, sorry. And the third archetype we have for your present connections is Pioneer. Lovely. All right. The tarot card describing the energy of the connection between the three energies here is the Mystic of Tomes. Right? And some additional messages about this connection, or these connections, is the Chimera. Imagination clouds your judgment. And supposed to be, these ones I don't read reverse. The Mystic Circle. Your abilities will be enhanced. Okay. So, I'm getting that for at least one of you in the connections that you're in right now are feeling hurt. Now, this may be by someone else in these connections, or this may be by something from your past that's left scars that are still hurting you. But I'm getting that that is an energy that's difficult right now for at least one of you. This may be you or maybe someone else in the connection. Whether that be one of your partners or one of your metamors. But what I also see here is that with this archetype, this person also stands up for people who are being victimized, so they do have a strong sense of justice. Another energy in this connection, which may or may not be the same person, is the Servant. And this person is someone who gives a lot of themselves. Whether they give past their own boundaries is not clear here, but I don't think they are quite clear on how much they want to give or how much they should give and to whoever this person is. There's been a lot of energies in all three piles around giving and around balance of, giving and taking. And I think that seems to be a pretty common theme with a lot of these. So it's possible there might be something underlying this change for a lot of folks right now. But what I'm getting from the Servant is this person really likes to, one of their love languages might be being of service. Because they really like to, help and, do things for the people that they care about. And I see more bowls and cooking references here, so I'm getting that, yeah, at least this one might be representing one of the things you do with cooking, and maybe one of you cooks, or maybe you cook together. I'm getting that, so the third energy here, Pioneer, someone in this connection is someone who is very creative and inspired and thinks of a lot of new ways to do things. This person might be one of the people in your connection that, pulls everybody out of the house. But it also might be just somebody who, always has the solution nobody else thought of. And it's interesting we have the Mystic of Tomes here. In this deck, they have 3 books. And this is their abundance, right? These tomes. Their knowledge and their wisdom is their wealth. And in this case, they have everything they could desire. I think that the connection between either yourself or your partners right now is actually quite abundant. Like there may be a lot of resources involved, like maybe this is physical resources, but it also might be an abundance of knowledge or an abundance of magic or an abundance of manifestation or ideas or like adventures. But there's definitely a lot of abundance and shared information between people involved here. If this is just one person, if this is just you right now, this is also um, you gaining information from different parts of yourself to feel more whole and more prosperous. So, what I'm also getting for this is that your current situation, you will be blessed. You are blessed because this is present, right? This is a blessing. You have a harmony that is being enhanced, either within yourself, if this is just you, or within your connections. Um, there may be things you're good at in your relationships, each person in their relationships. Um, may be good at something in particular, and those things are, they're getting even better at by the day. Um, and that is lovely. So, the next thing I want to find out here is what the near future looks like for your polyamorous connections. And this may be with the same people or it may be different people. I found with the other two piles that it seems they're very much aligned. So for those two piles, it seemed like it was mostly the same people involved on each one, but it may be different for you, so we will see. We will also find out some advice for that as well going forward. First, about these connections in the near future or about connections that you have in the near future. So the first thing we have is the bully. It's interesting. Let me hold that one up. Right. And the second card we have here is Damsel. Interesting. And the third card we have for archetypes is Judge. More about distributions of power and balance. I keep seeing that in everyone's readings. Alright. And for your tarot card for the connection between these energies in your relationships, we have the Diviner. Lovely. Alright. Major Arcana number 2. And for additional messages for the near future of your connections, we have the Knight, Triumph over Adversity, and the Spider, be meticulous and patient. Alright, some of you are afraid of spiders, and for that I apologize. So what I'm getting for the near future of your connections is that, now, this can often happen, and it doesn't necessarily have to. The future is never completely set in stone. But if somebody is feeling hurt, if one of the people in your connection circle is feeling hurt by whether it be their past or one of these other people in the connection, it can be a potential of theirs to turn that same hurtful energy outward and use it to intimidate others. And that could be a potential issue if that's taken too far. So, if that's you, that's something to really work on healing so that you don't end up making mistakes you'd regret. But if this isn't you, if this is somebody else in the connection, or one of your metamors, it might be good to try to, see what support might be available for them, or maybe encourage them to seek support. It can also go the other way for this person, because this person also could um, confront, you know, people who are bullying. They could turn that energy against people who are using their influence to try to intimidate and harm other people. So they could use their deep sense. This is, again, I'm getting this is the same person. That the sense of justice that they have can be used for either, you know, beneficial things or for harmful things. And which of those happens will depend on the person. I'm getting some clarity is coming because you're the diviner here. The triumphal reversity is right over this card that says imagination clouds your judgment. And so I think with that right over this, that's the adversity that's being triumphed over, that there will be clarity coming soon in your connections. So the second one we have here is damsel. This is somebody who um has it's about someone's relationship to healthy romance and how how much to rely on others versus oneself, how much to give to others versus to take for oneself. And I think that this is sort of an energy that's being transformed into that things might, in an effort to find whoever the person is here that is very giving of themselves, this person might be trying to find where that line is for them, and this clarity may that they might not end up may come in that they might not want to be as forthcoming as they have been or as in service as they have been, but they still want to be, but they may swing, a little bit. They may be trying to find that balance of what's healthy in their relationships, but it may be a danger if they take it too far, if they're not careful, that they could end up just, you know, waiting for other things to happen, waiting for other people to take action. So they might have to spend a while kind of figuring out where that balance is for them, whoever that is in this connection. So in the future, there might be that transition and trying to find out how much is healthy to um, expect and how much is healthy to give. But I think that clarity is coming and that there's going to be more insights coming in as far as how to balance that for whoever that is in the connection. I'm seeing as well for at least one individual in this connection that they will be able to be the one to bring clarity. If this is just one person, if it's a reading for yourself, then you will be able to find that clarity for yourself that helps you overcome this pain and find balance in being a healthy partner, um, and having healthy partners by being patient with yourself and really looking at the details and sorting out even the things that you might not consider as important, the things that are smaller, but they're still just as important because they weave the web of the whole. If this is for someone who is in relationships or is going to be in relationships soon, like these could be future relationships for some, or present ones that are changing. But one person in the connection is going to be bringing something to light. They'll be communicating something. And if you are the one who has the really cool ideas that you like to share with your partners, you will be this person. But if it's somebody else in your connections, then this might be them. But the person who comes up with all these really cool ideas is going to bring one of those ideas for how to balance things for this person. This person will also be able to be the best person to turn to for advice for whoever feels hurt and needs help or needs to learn how to transform that energy in a balanced way. Because this person has an insight that's not just their own. They have a divine insight. This person may be very intuitive. Perhaps this person has a connection to spirit guides or other realms, but they don't have to. They might just be very quick at coming up with ideas. But it is very clear that if this person comes up with an idea that seems like it should fix everything very quickly, that I would sit down and break it down first with them, and figure it out, because it may take a little longer than they expect. I'm getting that. Patience is required, and really getting down to the nitty-gritty is required for these situations. Yeah, I am getting that some balance and healing and self-discovery is coming for you and your potential relationships or present relationships. But that ultimately you can really work some beautiful magic together and weave some beautiful things together, and you can really see far into things that many other people cannot together. But yeah, like I see before, you in relationships, you really wake people up and really get them to step into who they are. And so of course there's all these balancing acts and figuring things out going on, because you've awoken that in yourself and or in your partners. Potentially in your metamors as well, or other connections. I do want to get some timing here on when this future situation is likely to be in play. The tarot card you have for that is a 10 of Vials. Wow, that's actually beautiful to see here, especially with the 3. Because this 10 of Vials is also very polyamorous with these 3 people here. And you also have the supermoon. Emotions are running high. So this may happen close to when there's a supermoon, it may not. What I am getting is that this is going to, I feel, fall and summer energy. So one of those 2 seasons, I'm getting the 10th of a month, or potentially 10 days or 10 weeks from now. But if 10 days or 10 weeks from now is not in summer or fall from when you're watching, then it will be likely very balmy week, or very it'll feel more like one of those seasons than a typical day during the season you're in. And this isn't just a span of one day. I'm feeling like it might be a span of about 10 days, close to that these balancing acts will take place, and these self-reflections and changes and shadow work, even for some of you, will be done. And lastly, some advice for you going forward, pile 3. We have the Explorer of Vials in reverse, and New Moon Eclipse. Expect powerful change. Yeah, you guys are transforming right now. If it's just you yourself, you are transforming. If it's you and connections, you're all transforming. You're all going through this awakening process, and a lot of changes are happening, and a lot of new beginnings are starting. It is important right now, and in this near future scenario, when this occurs as well, that you don't get caught up in over-the-top offers. If anything comes your way that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Don't take the easy way out, and some emotions may feel over the top sometimes, and it's okay to experience those emotions, but don't let them dictate your thoughts, and don't let them, control you. Try to flow with things without being too try to flow with things without being stagnant. Try to and just don't take anything at face value, is what I'm also getting for that. Expect huge changes on the way for you guys, and for the better. I'm getting that there will be triumph here. Whether you're in relationships or not, whether you're looking or not, whether you're but regardless, there's some serious transformation energy from you, pile 3, in your relationships. If you're looking for relationships and you're not presently in one, you will find that soon. But just be careful which offers are good and which ones are not. Just be wary of those that seem too good to be true. But someone will be making an offer to pile 3 if you are not presently with a partner. And even if you are with partners, you may still get an offer of an additional potential connection in the near future. And if you do, there may be some serious changes to your present connections. This may also be for one of your other partners. They may get a new offer of a new connection. Either way, that will work out well for them, the 10 of Vials, and things will be changing for the better with you guys. You just have to be patient with yourselves and allow yourselves the time to transform and feel your emotions and let yourself change in the ways that you want to and become healthier and more balanced. Take care of yourself, self-care, but ultimately these changes are going to be for the better. And that's what I have for you, pile 3, and I hope that you enjoy this reading. I hope that it was helpful for you in your relationships and your journey in polyamory. So until next time, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for joining me, everyone, today for this pick a card reading. I hope that everybody got something useful and helpful for them in their relationships and their journeys going forward, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Definitely check us out over on keen.com, where you can find us under Ash Scarlet Moon if you want private readings. We are not out as a system on there, so no guarantees which one of us you will get, but you can always ask if you did find us through here. But yeah, we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye now.